You ever wonder why your life feels heavy, even when everything seems fine on the surface? Maybe you've got the job, the relationship, the apartment with just the right amount of sunlight, but there's this weight, a dull, persistent ache in your chest, a silence that follows you like a shadow. That's not a coincidence. That's not random. That's your pain speaking, quietly, constantly, through the life you've built around it. We like to think that what's unspoken stays buried. But here's the truth. What you refuse to face will shape you anyway. The pain you hide becomes the life you live. Not in some metaphorical, poetic way, literally. Freud once said, unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. And we see it all the time, people sabotaging relationships, chasing validation, working themselves to exhaustion, or isolating completely. Not because they're weak, but because they're wounded. You learned early how to bury pain. Maybe someone told you to toughen up. Maybe you were punished for crying. Maybe the world just moved too fast for you to grieve properly. So you pushed it down, deep. And you got good at pretending. But pain doesn't disappear just because you stop looking at it. It finds another way out. It leaks through your tone, your choices, your silence, your addictions, your patterns. And suddenly you wake up one day realizing, this life I'm living, these habits, these people, this numbness, it isn't me. It's a defense mechanism with a heartbeat. Let's go back in time. The Stoics believed that suffering is not in the event itself, but in our refusal to accept it. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." But what happens when we refuse to even imagine our suffering, when we disown it completely? It festers. The grief that was never allowed becomes cynicism. The fear never acknowledged turns into control. The shame never named grows into perfectionism. All these walls we build to keep pain out end up becoming our prison. And prisons don't feel like punishment at first. They feel like safety, familiarity, control. But over time, that same structure becomes suffocating. You begin to feel hollow, like you're living someone else's story. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychoanalyst, had a name for this phenomenon: the shadow. The parts of ourselves we exile because they're too painful, too vulnerable, too unacceptable. But here's the paradox: until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you'll call it fate. You'll say, I just have bad luck with people, or I always mess